Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah. So today's video is another episode of my Vlogmas series here on my channel, where I'm posting new content every other day leading up to Christmas. But for today's video, I want to focus on this guy. This is Twinkle, our elf on the shelf, and he's been with us for about 5 years, and this year we've actually probably been the most creative we've ever been with him. So if you're anything like us though, we're running low on ideas and creativity as he gets ready to head back to the North Pole. So I want to share with you guys ideas we've done this month that were cost efficient, and most of the time the materials we had already in our home, and it didn't take very long to set up. So I thought I'd share these ideas with you guys so that if you're running out of ideas, you have some new ideas to refer to that are easy to do. So if you do enjoy today's video, please give it a thumbs up, as it does help my channel a lot. If you do enjoy today's video, as well as other content you see here on my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing and joining my YouTube family. So don't forget that red subscribe button and that notification bell so you miss any future videos from me. So throughout this video, I'm going to actually be referring to my phone a bit because I'm looking back at the photos that we've done. Because it's very easy for me to forget what we've done. So I'm going to be inserting clips here beside me of pictures of what we have done this month so you can get a visual, but also explain to you if there's any special materials we needed or what we used to create what we did. So for the first one, he always arrives on the first day with the advent calendars for the kids. So we usually have the book out for the elf, and then we have the kids' advent calendars beside him. So our kids both get Lego advent calendars, so that's what we put out. Our youngest doesn't have one yet, but only last year our daughter started getting one as well. So that's what the elf brings on the first day. So very simple, he just sits beside the advent calendars, nothing spectacular to do there. Then the next day what he did was he toilet papered the Christmas tree. So very simple, you just need toilet paper, which we all have. Although if you're anything like my area, some days it's hard to come by, but yes, we all have toilet paper, so it's something that we have on hand, easy to do. So we just simply tape the edge of the toilet paper to his hand, we wrap it around the Christmas tree, and then we stick him near the top of the tree. And the kids honestly thought this was really funny that the toilet paper was wrapped around the tree. So very simple to do, doesn't take very much time, and something we already have. Then the next day what we did was we had him get stuck in the cookie jar. So we have a snowman looking cookie jar, so you could really use this with any cookie jar, cookie container, anything of that sort. We had him halfway in there like he was stuck trying to get a cookie, and our kids thought it was quite funny that he got stuck because he was trying to get a cookie and was unsuccessful. So again, easy one. You don't really need anything except for a container that you put cookies in, and some cookies maybe. Then the next night was probably our simplest one. We simply just stuck him in one of the stockings. But oddly enough, this was probably the one that took the longest for our kids to find. So it's almost like he was camouflaged in the stocking. So it was a very simple, like, oh, that's so uncreative. So that we really want to step up our game and do really well the rest of the time. So then the next night, we have this cubed advent calendar. So I had him kind of sitting on one of the cubes with the other cube on his lap, and he had made the days at 00 as if it's like it's already Christmas. So the kids couldn't believe that he had messed with it. After that, my husband kind of went along with it and created a bit of a storyline with it. So for the next couple of days, they kind of all connected the dots together. So the next night, we had my son has a Stormtrooper figurine. So we had the Stormtrooper holding up Twinkle against the wall because he's mad that he messed up with the advent calendar. And then, so that was really simple. My son has a Stormtrooper toy, but you could probably take any toy that you want to do it and just have him kind of taped or pinned against the wall. So that was an easy one to do. And then the next night, what we did is we took a dinosaur that my kids have. Well, actually, it's my husband's because my kids picked it up for my husband a couple years ago. So we had him ride away on the dinosaur and squishing the Stormtrooper because he was mad that the Stormtrooper was pushing Twinkle against the wall. So again, you can just take your kids' toys and kind of make creative scenes for it. Although last year we took one of my daughter's Barbies, and she was not happy about it. We had to rescue the Barbie because she did not like that her Barbie was being used. She was 4 at the time, so I think this year she might have been okay with it and thought it was funny, but last year she was not. So we decided not to incorporate any Barbies this year because we were not sure how she'd react. But maybe next year will be a better year for it. So the next day we had him bow climbing. So we put some bows on the wall, taped his hands to the bows, and he was climbing the wall by the mantle. Now, hindsight, had I thought about this a little bit more, I probably would have used a different type of tape or attached him up differently because he kept falling off. He fell off like 3 times before I went to bed. And then I think the next morning I came down before the kids and I had to put him back up on the wall. And then eventually I picked him up holding with my shirt, so I didn't touch him, and sat him on the mantle because he was just falling down too many times, and I was worried that my youngest would probably touch him and then my kids would get upset because they know that you're not supposed to touch him. So the next night we had to make a snow angel out of flour. So super easy. You can use flour, you can probably use sugar. Really simple one. I sprinkled some flour on the counter, and then I kind of push his arms and legs into a snow angel format, and that's how he was the next day. I kind of put him on a spot on the counter that I would be okay not using throughout the day, and the kids thought he just made such a mess. And the next night we had the elf sitting outside the cookie jar, successfully have eaten a cookie, and half the cookie was eaten and we left little crumbs and everything, so they thought that Twinkle had eaten the cookie. The next night, this one was probably one of my favorites that I did, was I wanted to take like Aunt Jemima syrup, because I've seen this on Pinterest, and leave it on the counter with him drinking out of a straw. We didn't have any, we'd used it up, but we have maple syrup in the fridge. So luckily we had room in the fridge that particular day. So I had him kind of sitting on a little container so he could sit a bit higher. I stuck a straw in the maple syrup and kind of had him so his face was propped against the straw. So it looked like he was drinking the syrup. Well, the next one we actually had the most fun with, and I actually had to go out and get some supplies. So we decided to have the elf wrap some items up in the kids' playroom. So I simply went to the dollar store. I got rolls of paper for like $2, so fairly inexpensive. I got 3 designs. I got Disney, I got Paw Patrol, and I got Olaf from Frozen. So stuff that the kids all like. So we wrapped the TV, the Christmas tree, the chalkboard, a wagon, the kids' table, and chairs. We stuck bows on everything as well. So it wasn't overly expensive to do, and honestly it was kind of fun, and that was probably the most time-consuming evening that we had for it. And then we're gonna have the elf actually bring back the wrapping paper next week. We're gonna have him bring it back and say, here, you guys can just use it in your house, because otherwise I'm like, where are we gonna put this wrapping paper for like a year to store? So the elf is bringing the wrapping paper back. But that was a fun one. And then what we had done as well was we had the elf sitting with a roll of Scotch tape and the kids' scissors to show like what he'd used to cut the wrapping paper and everything else and wrap it. So we had him kind of sitting on a shelf with those things. And the next one we did was we gathered I have these Christmas small stuffed animals from a store called Sears years ago that I got as a kid. I got them for several different years from Santa. And so we took a few of these characters and stuck them in like our bowl shaped lamp floor lamp that we have. And then we had the elf taped to another stuffy who was hanging off the edge, as if the elf was rescuing him as he fell off the edge when they're at a party. And then now next one is all my husband. He was supposed to be him on he wanted to eventually do a parachute, but he couldn't figure out how to do that, so then he did a hang glider type thing. My son said it looked more like he was on a kite. He made out of like cardstock paper. You could do other construction paper, just a solid shape that looked like a hang glider behind him, attached some pipe cleaner to it, and then had him hanging from that, and then we stuck some string on and had him hanging from a hook that we already had in our ceiling. It was a really easy one, a fun one. It was hard for the kids to see because they had to look up, so that was really interesting to see how long it took for them to see it. Then the next one we did was a fairly simple one. It involves toilet paper, a Sharpie, and construction paper. So we made a snowman out of toilet paper. So I just used Sharpie to make the face, the eyes, the mouth, and the buttons, and then I took an orange construction paper, cut it like a carrot, and then taped it onto the toilet paper, and then had the elf sitting in the top of the toilet paper. Then the next one was kind of a fun one, is we did it where the elf was roasting a marshmallow to make s'mores. Well, we already had graham crackers because I made a dessert with graham crackers recently. I already had a piece of chocolate because I made dessert with a piece of chocolate, and we had marshmallows from this summer. So we just took a skewer, cut it in half, and then attached it to the with the marshmallow at the end of it, and then kind of just taped it to the elf's hands just so it doesn't move. And then we just grabbed a tea light, stuck it underneath the marshmallow, and that's what we did. So it was really easy to do. Now the next night we had it where the elf was sitting with a few other stuffies, and my son has these books that he does reads for school, and in the back of them there's these plays that you can do, so it's a narrator and some characters and stuff like that. So we had the elf sitting with a bunch of other little stuffies, and it made it look with the book open, so it looked like they were doing the play. And then the most recent one we did, which was last night, so for today, was involved using a piece of toast, and I cut some holes out to put his arms through, so he was had the toast sitting in his arms, and then I made a sign that said it's toasty in here. So that was this morning's. Now I think it's quite funny. Other family members thought it was funny, but I don't know if they quite understood the joke. Maybe they're too young for it. So for this night we had the elf have a bubble bath, so I just took one of my loaf pans, one of my smallest ones, and some small marshmallows, stuck them in the pan, and stuck the elf in it. So it's a super easy one to do. So that's all I have for ideas for today. I hope it gave you some ideas or stuff that you can do with yours as we approach the 24th of December and when he ventures back off to the North Pole. So if you did enjoy today's video, please give it a thumbs up, as that does help my channel a lot. If you did enjoy today's video along with other content you see here on my channel, I would love if you consider subscribing and joining my YouTube family. So don't forget that red subscribe button and the notification bell to miss any future videos from me. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I appreciate the support so much, so thank you so much to everyone who's a returning subscriber and continues to watch my videos. I appreciate your support so much, and to anyone who decides to subscribe to my channel today, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate so much, as I love creating content and new videos for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.